Hello, welcome to my channel. My name is Fran, and today we will discuss the importance of challenging your beliefs for living a life of purpose and fulfilling your dreams. Look, following the commonly accepted rules is perfectly fine for survival and safety. You will probably satisfy all your most basic needs: surviving danger, reproducing, defending your offsprings until they become independent, and generally staying safe. Although this may be enough for most people, it will never lead you to live an extraordinary life. You survive and most likely stagnate. You live your life in autopilot, following rules written by others without ever questioning the system, the culture you live in, the beliefs that you've been programmed with from an early childhood. You create nothing new. Eventually, you lose your sense of purpose and just survive. This will never allow you to thrive, to create, to transform this world you live in. We've all come here to expand, to grow, to leave a mark on this earth, to transform the reality that we were born into. So we need to transcend our physical reality, our knowledge, our limited view of the world. We need to question the status quo, our belief system, our assumptions and preconceptions. We need to challenge common knowledge and break the rules when we find that they are limiting and or dysfunctional. I remember reading a story somewhere of a recipe for a roast ham, which had been passed on from generation to generation. At the end of the preparation process, the author recalled his mother always cut the top and the bottom of the ham before placing it into the oven. The child then asked his mother why she cut the ends of the ham before cooking it. The mother replied that that was the way her mother always did it. So the child went up to his grandmother and asked why it was so important to cut the ends of the ham before roasting it. And the grandmother replied that she didn't know the reason, but that her mother had always done it that way, and the ham was always delicious, so there must have been a perfectly good reason for it. So the child went up to his great-grandmother and asked her the same question, to which his great-grandmother replied, because the pan was too small and the ham didn't fit into it. So there you have it. You've probably been living your life by someone else's rules without questioning them. Rules which most likely no longer apply to you. You've been limiting your life, all the while assuming that those limitations and restrictions were unchangeable, because that is just the way things are. But let me tell you this, nothing new was ever invented by people who unquestioningly accepted the existing rules. Now, the good news is you can change the rules of the game in an instant. And you don't need a revolution, you don't need to convert others, you don't even need to convince anyone of your new view of the world other than yourself. As your view of the world is merely a cognitive construct, the only revolution which needs to happen takes place inside of your own mind. You can become limitless and unbounded just by challenging what you know and creating new beliefs. All that is making your life what it is today, it's your identity. And your identity is made up of a set of ideas, beliefs, and interpretations of your past experiences. And guess what? None of these are permanent or even real. They're just imaginary mental constructs. Yet, we keep living within their boundaries as if they were real physical constraints. But even what you deem to be real and physical, at the deeper level, is just vibration and energy, and the frequency of energy is constantly affected by vibrations. Your belief system will affect not only how you view and how you interact with reality, but how reality shows up in your experience. At the subatomic level, you're not the same person that you were a few years, months, or even a few days ago. Your cells have been replaced by new ones. Some have died and new ones have grown. None of the cells that were present in your body when you were born are in your body today. So effectively, you're a different person. Yet, what holds this idea of person together is the concept of identity. This allows us to experience a sense of continuity and to recognize ourselves in a mirror every day in spite of our changing appearances. Our life is just a series of events, but we give meaning to it by making up a story about these experiences. We construct a narrative of how we are, who we are, because of things that have happened to us in the course of our lives. Then we become so entrenched, so entangled with our tail that it seems real, tangible, and even unchangeable. But we live in a fluid reality which is molded by our thoughts and feelings, which in turn are shaped by our core beliefs. Now, the only real challenge in manifesting the reality that you desire is establishing which are your innermost blocks, your core limiting beliefs. Because you see, you can change your thoughts and feelings moment by moment and even fleetingly manifest something that you desire, but unless you challenge and change your core blocks or deeper dysfunctional beliefs, you will slowly revert back to your old self, especially during challenging or trying times. If you're facing a stressful situation or challenge, your ego will revert back to what's familiar. And if that core belief hasn't been eradicated, it will lead you right back to square one, and this will in turn reinforce the feeling that the belief must be true, right, or factual. It will reinforce the thought that it can't be changed and that is just the way things are. Okay, so how do we spot our core beliefs? How do we become aware of them? First of all, we observe the patterns in our lives. What are we constantly manifesting or consistently attracting? Do we keep repeating the same relationship dynamics with different people? Do we attract the same behaviors over and over and over again? How do people treat you? This is your core belief. This is how you treat yourself at the core level. The world is a mirror which shows you what needs changing in order to shape-shift your reality. People show up in your life as you show up for yourself. Also remember that you may have a core belief for relationships and a different one for your professional or financial life. So the fact that you are a confident person in your work environment doesn't necessarily mean that you are confident in more personal settings, or you may be confident in group settings but not on a one-to-one level, or vice versa. No one can tell you what your core limiting beliefs are. Not me, not your therapist, not your friends and family. So you have to trust your intuition. And if that is not enough, look at your reality. What's showing up? That is what you really think you deserve. But I can tell you this, the most common limiting beliefs are, I am not worthy, I am not deserving, I am not loved, I am not chosen, or every time I love something, I lose it. But they mostly boil down to I'm not worthy of whatever it is that is lacking in your life. The other day I was listening to Caleb from Pluto's Gate and also Dylan James, and they make a lot of sense. They were saying that you can affirm all day long that you are attractive, magnetic, successful, wealthy, and so on and so forth. But unless you eradicate the belief that you're not worthy or deserving, or that you are never chosen, success will only ever be temporary or sporadic. And manifestation will feel like a struggle or a chore. Now, how do you eradicate the limiting beliefs? By repeatedly stating the opposite. You don't need to believe in the affirmations. Let me repeat these. You don't have to believe in the affirmations. You just have to repeat them so often that it eventually impresses your subconscious mind. Spontaneous experiences may do this for us instantaneously if they are highly emotionally charged. But when we are trying to consciously change our existing beliefs, we cannot rely on chance. So we have to do it systematically through repetition, which is a form of self-hypnosis. You can use subliminal recordings too, but the problem with subliminals is that you don't know what they are saying, and therefore you can't be sure that they are addressing your core belief. One solution would be to record your own hypnosis and listen to it through the night, or listen to pre-recorded guided meditations which directly address your core limiting beliefs. So this is it. Manifesting your desired reality is easy and can be effortless. It's not difficult, stressful, or a lengthy process. Change can be instantaneous. Step 1, look at what shows up in your life. Step 2, identify your core limiting beliefs or blocks. Step 3, repeatedly affirm the opposite. Some people repeat hundreds of affirmations, all of which fail to address the core limiting beliefs and simply skirt around the issue. And that is why affirmations can feel awkward, unnatural, and can be ineffective. You can affirm all day that you're sexy or handsome, but if at the core you believe that you're not worthy of love, you will always attract superficial relationships, which in turn, ironically, will reinforce your core belief that you're not worthy. So it's extremely important that your affirmation addresses the core limiting belief rather than the consequences of it. If you affirm that you are wealthy and successful, but deep down you believe that you're not worthy or deserving, or that every time you care for something, you lose it, you won't be able to produce lasting change. But if you affirm that you are worthy and deserving, then all the other pieces will fall into place, whether in your personal or professional life. You don't need hundreds of affirmations, but one which effectively targets your core limiting belief. Keep it simple, keep it short. See, we have been taught that change is difficult, that to succeed you need to work hard and sacrifice, that anything worth having is difficult and that it takes time. Well, guess what? Those two are limiting beliefs. Change can happen instantaneously, and it doesn't have to be difficult or unpleasant, unless you believe that that's the way things are, in which case you will probably be proven right. Or in the words of Henry Ford, whether you think that you can or you think that you can't, you're right. So this is it for today. I hope you found this content interesting and helpful. And if so, please hit like, share, subscribe, and hit the bell option to be notified of my future videos. In any case, thank you for listening. Have a wonderful awakened day.